Here we are.
Yes.
We're back. This is episode 17.
Wow.
17. So listening to episode 16, you went all the way through it, waiting for us to actually start a topic that I don't know, intentionally, not really. We're not trying to be rude or set you guys up, but we kind of just went through all of that and got to the point of we didn't even start the main topic, which, hey, talking sometimes that's what happens. But
Exactly.
with this, and we're going to forego the music news this week.
Yes.
We'll bring it back next week, and that's
Right.
okay. Which band had the greatest impact on rock history?
Ooh.
We're focusing on four of them. It's so one Oasis, two Nirvana, U2 or Bon Jovi. Not numbering or ranking in any order. This is more a matter of, you know, take one, take the other, take all four, don't take any of them, doesn't matter. Share your comments, let us know what you think about it. But Stephen, I'll give you the honors if you want to kick off. And again, I have notes. Obviously, it was good to be able to get some content,
Yeah, me too.
and some specifics behind this. But I think it's really a matter of, pick one you want to start with, and we'll just kind of go back and forth.
Well, I don't know if there's necessarily an order, but I just figured I'd
Yeah,
start with Oasis because it
yeah,
seemed like that was kind of the first that we had looked at as far as a picture. Um, and I am very familiar with Oasis. And where I had originally saw them was a Glastonbury performance they did probably I don't know, early 2000s.
yeah.
And I was kind of intrigued by the way the singer that's Liam, right? God, that's so sad that I don't know which one's Liam. So
Yes.
the when he sings, he does this little bend thing every time. And I was like, that's kind of cool. He does this every time. And his voice, they reminded me of the Beatles for whatever reason. It was kind of like this um, good poppy rock music that captivated a lot of people. And I know that they had started originally in 91 and they started as a group called Rain.
Okay.
So it's Liam and Noel
Yeah.
Gallagher. Sorry.
No, no, that's all good.
Uh, for those that are like, you don't know your shit, you can type it in the comments below.
Yes.
Um, so they were signed to a record label called Creation Records, and their first debut album definitely made 94, including hits like Forever and Supersonic, which I don't know those songs. And again, we talk about we should know our music, but the songs that we really mostly know are Wonderwall,
Yep.
um, Don't Look Back in Anger, and Champagne Supernova, which were released in 97,
Absolutely.
which was off their third album. And it was the biggest selling in the UK charts.
Yep.
And all three of those songs, which I know, and even live, they're good. The album versions are really good. You hear them. I even hear them when I go to the grocery store. I'm like, they're playing Oasis on there, and it's good music. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not anything reason not to rock about it. And unfortunately, though, that the brothers had a falling out. I think it was around 2009. And Noel Gallagher decided to kind of keep moving on with it with the original members without Liam. And then it kind of fizzled out. And then Noel kind of did he has I can't remember the name of the band. But their music in the 90s was influential, and it's going to probably lead into all three of the other bands that we're going to talk about that created influential music. But I don't know that Oasis was the biggest impact. And I don't, not trying to step on toes for those that really like this band, but the three others that we're going to talk about have I think have a bigger impact, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this band, Scott.
Sure. No, I think that's great. And I love how you kind of detailed out their history. So I'm going to focus on a couple areas, kind of four, five actually, kind of key points that may or may not make them the most influential or most impactful. Um, exactly. Which band had the greatest impact on rock history, right? So Britpop pioneers is how they've been
Yes.
referred to. Again, they were at the forefront of that in the mid 90s alongside Blur and
Yep.
Pulp. Definitely knew Blur. I really knew Blur a lot more back. They were their music was part of the older version of a like PlayStation soccer game that I used to
Yes.
play years ago. So you would hear Blur all the time, and I probably heard them woohoo like a
Yeah.
million, well, thousands of times, probably easily. Um, so in really playing a crucial role in revitalizing British rock music, and more so promoting that culture, right? That you really hadn't seen since maybe the Beatles, right? So there was
Yeah.
a generation that passed. You hit on these song titles and some of the records, this massive commercial success. Again, being that cultural phenomenon, one of the best-selling records of all time in the UK. With Wonderwall and Don't Look Back to Anger. That's the What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Such good
I
songs.
still have that on CD, right? We
Yeah,
talk
me
about
too.
do people have CDs anymore? Well, I still got a bunch lying around, don't have anything to play them on, but they're still lying around. They make great coasters. But those songs, they're still recognized and celebrated today. And they may be going through a grocery store, or maybe on an elevator, but you still you still hear them. And
It's
rock radio, if you listen to rock radio, you're still going to find those as well.
and
The
just a
this
quick sorry, just a quick
No,
link to the Beatles is that Zach Starkey, who is Ringo Starr's son, ended up playing drums for them before the band broke up.
yeah,
So yeah, just
right.
a little bit of history there.
Yeah, and when you say break up, earlier episodes we talked about, would this be a band that, should get back together? And we said yes. And then there's been, I'm sure nothing to do with our show. There's been other stories that I always love this, other stories have popped up in social media, and it captured one of the quotes made by Liam. I believe it was Liam. And I'm thinking, is it Liam or Noel? Noel or Liam?
They all talk.
The Gallaghers that said, we have nothing else to prove.
Right. Yeah,
So in that, the
that is on my notes
influential
too.
songwriting, again, Noel Gallagher, the songwriting. So he's the chief songwriter.
Right.
Again, some rock traditions, some Beatle-esque melodies. Again, their appeal, those songs just resonated. There was just such a strong, strong connection, right? You heard those and it stood out.
Yeah, where were you when we were getting high?
Yeah. And how he did it. And that bend, when you talk about that bend, you feel it. The cultural, number four, the cultural impact. There we go.
Yeah.
They kind of had that cool, it was in that cool era, right? And they looked at that, that they didn't give two F's, two
No.
S's about anything. And
No.
it showed. And to that, that was part of their conflict, but also their highlight as a band and performers, because
Right.
they couldn't stand one another, and you felt the tension. But I thought that kind of added to just their impact
For
as
sure.
these adversaries on the same stage, combining their talents to make this magic that after the show, they wouldn't even talk to one another.
No.
So that in itself is the dynamic of how wonderful you have it and how little or how much of just disregard you have. Kind of wild. And just the
Yeah.
legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There's since that time just other bands, the catchy hooks, the choruses, again, that swagger we talked about. They were rock stars, right?
Yeah.
They were the epitome of a rock star. And I think in that, and we'll get into the other one, or we'll run out of time on this one. We'll make this a 20-part episode, but I would say in this one, and we're going to the next band, and you can pick the next band. We have three more
No,
after
you
this.
have to pick.
Okay, I'll pick it.
You have to
did they play, and we'll come back and maybe or maybe not give you who we thought was the most impactful. Who knows? But Oasis played a crucial role in the overall evolution of British music and
For
they
sure.
left this indelible mark. I can say that too, on the music
Yeah, for
scene
sure.
of the 90s. Do they
Yes.
stand out amongst everybody? I don't know. Are
Mm.
they again, the topic of the show is, looking at my notes, which band had the greatest impact on rock history? I don't know if they did, but they definitely left a mark.
Yeah, for sure. No, I don't believe they did.
Yeah,
But it's still a great band and great music, and you know, again,
absolutely. Yeah.
for sure.
And
What
do
a
you
great
have to
band.
pick? Do you have to pick?
No,
So this one's near and dear. So sorry if I'm taking this one, Stephen.
take it.
You
Take
too.
it.
So listening
Oh.
and funny. Again, we've talked about this on every episode. We are professionals. We have our notes prepared. We do extensive. We pull our information together. We know what we're going to talk about. But
There's my notes. Oh
there
shit,
we
it doesn't
go.
show. There we go.
No, but that's perfect. It's highlighted. I like that.
There you go.
Um, driving into work this morning, and I was playing U2. I'm all, you know what? It seems like a U2 morning. So Joshua Tree, and that right there, I think, not talking about the greatest rock records of all time, that falls in there, and it could even be a top 5 record. Definitely the top 4 songs, to me,
Yeah.
are probably some of the best 3 to 4 songs to lead off a record, which could be a future topic. But let me give some, reasons why they have this profound impact on rock history. Just the innovation. Admittedly, when I was younger, past episodes we've hit on this, I didn't have the same appreciation as I do today.
No, I
Working
didn't
at
either.
16 at the Music Plus in Cyprus, I could have, the manager was printing out tickets right before, at the old Ticketmaster, and we share that
And it was a
commonality as
big
well.
computer like this big.
Yeah, they're all printing
Yeah.
out. Could have
Yeah.
had some, great seats. I would have bought them. They paid for them. $20 a ticket back then. Which was a lot of money when you're 16. But
Yeah.
not a problem. But I just wasn't interested. So again, just there, and again to that, thinking the Edge really, oh, he doesn't really know how to play guitar. But listening to it, it's like, wait a second. There's just so
Yes, he
now again,
does.
getting older, getting a little wiser, having a much deeper respect. Again, I think their entire approach, it was more a matter of me not recognizing they were blending some post-punk, some
For
alternative
sure.
rock, some stadium rock.
For sure.
Their sound evolved significantly over the decades, absolutely. But there was this atmospheric and experimental tone that when you look back now, and I'm thinking just because it was literally resonating in my ears still in Joshua Tree, of just the mood it set, right? And you could feel it going from song to song. So that definitely made a difference. They certainly had an opinion, and I'm okay with this depending on how they present it, but from a social and political commentary, because it was wrapped around their lyrics. And I don't care for or against, it's either way. I'm not going to a show for someone to preach to me, but if you can really weave a tale strongly within your lyrics and you tell a story and you can visualize it, then you know what, more power to you. Because again, a deeper
Yeah, for sure.
appreciation, and I'm trying to apply this to myself. And as I shared a post the other day and a picture with Stephen, how working on some new no-con material is really trying to be reflecting and being introspective on writing lyrics, which I remember way back in the day, I would make up lyrics. I wouldn't even write them down. There was a period in one band, I never wrote anything down. I'm not saying that anybody should do that. I thought it was kind of a dumb idea because you necessarily would I probably would remember the melodies, but again, that's not about me. We're talking U2, and I'm not comparing myself to Bono or The Edge or anybody. But their ability to tackle, again, the social political issues, human rights, social justice, global activism, they're activists. They are, Bono's
Oh,
been,
yeah,
a
and
major player in that for
philanthropists.
years,
Yeah,
but
and
they back
philanthropists.
it up.
Yeah.
The live performances. Now, again, I
Oh,
can't say this, and so I'll give you this one, Stephen, just how, like, I've seen video, right? I've seen footage, not see, and I will see them live. I will see them live, but
they'll play
it's
again.
just dynamic. It's just striking live performance. The sound where you saw him at the Sphere,
Yeah,
say no more. And they were really pioneers, I think, also when it comes to multimedia and elaborate staging
absolutely.
throughout their, each record, each theme, each tour built that around it,
Yeah.
taking it up to stadium concerts.
Yeah,
Again,
they
say
did
no
like,
more.
like Zoo TV tour,
Absolutely, yeah.
all the, I mean, they did the U2 360 tour, that even the Joshua Tree, where they had, they came out and played like on a little stage, and then they did this whole, you can YouTube a lot of it. I didn't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
no, that's fine. Yeah.
um what started back, and to me, which my brother turned me on to, was kind of reminded me a little bit more punk of them, like Sunday Bloody Sunday,
Yeah.
In the Name of Love, as it grew, there came to a point that they had some stagnation and backlash, um following their documentary album Rattle and Hum. So that's when they kind of started going, oh, let's start making this bigger thing, this when we record an album, we're going to make this big huge tour about it.
Yeah.
And they kept getting bigger, and they kept getting bigger. How to Dismantle a Bomb, and U2 have released 14 studio albums, which is amazing,
Yeah, absolutely.
and are one of the biggest selling artists in history, having sold, ready for this, stagnation.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, 170 million records worldwide. That's a pretty good thing, because we know that records
Not
don't sell
bad.
anymore.
Yeah, no, not bad. And again, I'll add a couple
Sadly.
summary points on here. Um, again, a combination of musical innovation, which you talked about, impactful lyrics, groundbreaking, wow, say that 10 times, groundbreaking live performances, the commercial success, again, 170 million plus
That's
records.
insane.
Again, their activism, which is admirable, it kind of solidifies their overall impact on rock history, and the influence they've had of other bands. Maybe not necessarily in the sound, though those do exist, but I think more so in engaging the social and political issues, maybe a Rage Against the Machine, right? To
Oh,
one
another
side,
great band.
and does that make them one of the most influential of all time?
Well,
It
and
could.
just lastly, to put the icing on the cake, Rolling Stone ranked U2 at number 22 on its list of 100 greatest artists of all time. That's a pretty good honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
22. I wouldn't want to be 99. I'll take 99.
Yeah.
No con being 99, whatever.
Yes.
Okay. But that's a pretty good. Did they influence other bands? I don't know that they did, but they had their own unique sound that just kept growing and growing and growing, and the music kept changing and getting different. And I'm going to just really quick tail it off with
Yeah.
seeing them at the Sphere, which you guys have seen before, and they took more of an Octoon Baby approach to this concert, but they sounded incredible. Bono, they haven't down tunes like a lot of bands do, where the
Yeah.
singers can't hit those notes. And it was great. It was a phenomenal show. I don't regret one moment of it, even the 3 hours that it took us to walk and get back to our hotel afterwards. But we'll leave that for another show.
No, absolutely.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's so great. And I would just say that while musically, I don't know the where the inspiration is for other bands. I think just the collective of what they've done. Everything you talk about, the stage, their appearance, just their craft. I think all those really set it up for other bands to say,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
this is how you put like a live show together. This is how you represent your band. So let's do that. There's two more on
Yeah.
here. let's take Bon Jovi. How about that?
Yes, for sure.
So I'll kick this one off. Yeah. Um, the recently seen that Bon Jovi documentary on Hulu, I believe, four-part documentary. There's our
Oh, so
Hulu
good.
plugged. It is really good. Yeah. And
So
again,
good.
there's an element more of just being, being real, being seeing age kind of set into it of, hey, you know what, he's a regular guy, but his story is phenomenal. And from I think an inspiration standpoint, he rivals, I think, most bands, and I say he because it's Bon Jovi. Granted, it's the band, but John Bon Jovi, took that demo, sat outside that radio station, and presented it and said, "Listen, I want you to play." It was Runaway. I want you to play, and it was already a great track. It was produced really
For
well,
sure.
and it got added to that radio. And then boom, they just took off from there. But I'll hit on some of the, again, the 80s and 90s, and here they are today putting out a new record a couple weeks ago. Just their impact on mainstream rock, pop metal, were they in the metal category at one time? Sure. Overall rock and roll, absolutely. But here are some reasons that make them significant in the history of rock and roll. The commercial success. Um,
Yeah.
Slippery When Wet, New Jersey.
Oh,
The hits, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Bad Medicine. When those come on, I still listen to them. And it's, again, same thing. When I was younger, I did see them a few times. Sometimes I wouldn't say I was dragged, but it was more a matter of the party I kept was, hey, we're going to go. That would be a good time. Let's go do it. I
yeah.
saw them, Irvine Meadows. We talk about that place
Me
many
too.
times with Skid Row. Phenomenal show. So that was fun. That was good. Again, with Bad Medicine, that kind of solidified them as one of the best-selling bands of the era. Crossover, later on, they went from, hard rock, some call it metal, but hard rock, pop hooks. Again, having those choruses, broader audience appeal for sure. Kind of dipped a little bit into country, maybe unintentionally, maybe intentionally, but it worked. Stadium Rock Pioneers, the same thing. They put on this
Mm,
performance, and you watch the old videos, and that was really what I enjoyed. Is a lot of the videos back in the day spliced in the live performance. So if you didn't know who bands were, you saw some studio, you saw maybe a little bit of a theme, but then you saw it spliced in with some live shows.
yeah.
Guns N' Roses was great for that. You couldn't help but go, wait a second, I gotta check these guys out. So, enthusiastic fans filling stadiums, setting trends with just these big rock concerts. Two more points, and I'll hand it over to you, Stephen. Their resilience and their longevity. They've had trouble. They've lost some band members. Some have passed away now. Others, they aren't coming back. And that's okay, but it moves on. And then just the impact on pop culture. They were part of it. Their fashion, again, the broader rock scene of where it went. Again, those songs, you recognize them, either cover bands walking down Broadway in Nashville, you'll hear it. Same thing, you'll hear it in a restaurant or on an elevator. It's all over the place. Maybe they didn't revolutionize rock music in that regard, but they definitely left their mark as is like
Absolutely.
powerhouse.
Absolutely. And interestingly enough that you say that, because after their nonstop touring, after they went on a hiatus for the New Jersey tour in 1990, to which John Bon Jovi and Rich Sambora both released solo albums. This is what's going to segment, and we're probably going to lose time on this, the rise of alternative rock groups such as Nirvana, which is going to be up next.
Yeah. So speaking of
Uh,
them, and feel free, I don't want to cut you off if
go, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah. So, we've talked about Oasis, U2, Bon Jovi,
Yeah.
Nirvana. Arguably, did Nirvana have the greatest impact on rock history?
Mm.
Here's some reasons why. So now we can do some compare and contrast. And if we run out of time, we'll add in a segment. So we'll edit this together. And I'm revealing the secret sauce in the sausage making, Stephen. So we'll stop that. But, the revolutionary sound, you kind of look back at it, they marked a significant shift in the music landscape. I remember the first time I saw that video. And of course, we're talking about the song. What is it? What is that song? Smells Like Teen Spirit. Yeah. What is it? And it's like, well,
I
wait a
could
second.
have
That was just an
I could have
odd,
given you like 300 songs right there.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
an odd title, right? It's like, so what was it? And in that gymnasium with the cheerleaders and kind of dimly lit, it just set this whole appeal of, wait a second, who the F
I
are
mean,
these
no,
guys?
no,
You know,
no. Yeah.
and it just it exploded. It really did.
Yeah.
Again, definitely rooted in punk rock, but added
For
some pop
sure.
sensibilities that came in that really just made it kind of, it could be rough and tumble and almost too much to handle, but then it just cut like a knife, right? Cuts like a knife. We're
For
not talking
sure.
Bryan Adams tonight, but
Yeah.
it cut
I
right
was just gonna
through
say that.
with that pop sensibility that resonated with like everybody. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
couldn't avoid hearing that, and it was so good. The cultural influence, again, Kurt Cobain. It's like, who is this guy, right? And obviously, what ended up happening in '94, did it actually propel them even bigger to what they were? Who knows what they would have been if they continued to this day as a band?
Yeah.
That's to be determined, and we don't know that. But I think in that regard, you look at the mainstream breakthrough, their legacy
Yeah.
and influence.
Unbelievable.
U2, I'll make this real quick so you can finish on it. U2, Oasis, Bon Jovi, significant impacts on rock history. Is
Bon Jovi.
Nirvana, is their influence, Bon Jovi, if I didn't say it, yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Nirvana was their influence. Did it stand out to a role? It shaped a whole new era of rock. It killed, arguably, some will say, it killed hair metal,
For sure.
you know.
But yeah, Bon Jovi has arguably wow. Did I look at
Yeah,
I'm
no,
getting
you got
your
me now. Yeah.
I'm gotten your vote. Bon Jovi arguably
Yeah.
is and has been the most influential. If you look at how many hits, and you can go back to It's My Life back in 2021, has over 1 billion views on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. That's
It's wild.
that's wild.
So how about this? We're going to end the episode on this. Oasis, U2, Nirvana, Bon Jovi. Who had the greatest impact on rock history?
Let us know.
Yeah, you guys decide. We just kind of presented some facts, and we want you to have a dialogue. And we will do, if it builds to that, that'd be great. We'll do a response episode based
Sure.
on your comments and feedback.
Yes.
So again, let us know. Find us on socials, Instagram, soon to be on Facebook, right? I know people can't wait for Facebook. But again, we'll put it out there on YouTube. And again, check us out. By the time you see this, we're on 99WNRR.com,
Yeah.
7 p.m. Eastern every
And
Sunday night,
also look for Scott's show on Tuesdays,
7
uh
Eastern.
7
Yeah.
Eastern, which he is perfect timing for me because I'm on my way home and I put it on and it's driving music that just goes, yeah.
Yeah. So if you see a big white truck coming down, the 405 or the 605 or any of those
Yeah.
highways,
Might be both of them.
I won't. It could be the 22, or it could be some, who
No
knows?
20.
Who knows where you live? Yeah.
You never know.
They don't want to divulge that. Don't want people showing up at your doorstep.
I
But
live at
yeah,
Knott's Berry Farm.
there we go. Yeah. I always thought you looked like Snoopy. Anyway, Stephen, as always,
Love you,
and
brother.
I love your shirt. Tattoos
Thank you.
are
Oh yeah.
stupid, right?
Oh
Tattoos
shit.
are stupid. Yeah.
My floor tom almost just
Yeah.
killed me, but
Yeah.
tattoos are stupid.
Yeah.
So
And you believe in that. You're passionate about that belief, and you're wearing it on that shirt.
I do not like tattoos.
Not at all. So, as always, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Continue coming back. We'll be coming back. Until next time. See ya.
See ya. Shit, I turned into an alien.
Again.